Chapter 19. It's safer in bed than to drive home. The students piled into Gym Gamma. Excited chatter echoed through the quarters. Yin, standing with her arms crossed, glared at them as they approached her for combat training. "You all seem pretty lively this morning." "Of course," Maki exclaimed, throwing her arms around one of her classmates. "The school festival's coming up. We're bouncing off ideas for what we're supposed to do." School festival? Yin repeated. "Yes, sis. Do you remember what those are?" "It has been a while since you've been in school," Atsura teased, but was met with a quick punch to the gut from her. "What do you think we should do, Miss Yin?" Koda asked, scratching his head in thought. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?" "A maid cafe, a retelling of Cinderella, a haunted house, maybe a performance." Yin clenched her fist with a mischievous smile, a fiery gaze surrounding her, making the students swelt. "How about you show off your combat skills against me?" "Hard pass," they stated in unison. Yin," Izuku gasped as he opened the door to the teacher's lounge as he greeted his, wife. She was leaning against the counter, sipping a hot cup of coffee. She looked over the rim of her cup with twinkling eyes. "You don't usually come in here during lunch," he stated, setting his food down on the table and pulling out his chair. "Is something wrong?" "Does something have to be wrong for me to be in here?" No, not at all." He waved his hands frantically. A smile spread across her face, making her face glow warm. "Good." She's smiling," he thought. It had been another week of their pretend marriage, and Atsura's parents would be leaving Friday night, making the end of their arrangement. Their mission turned out to be a lot easier than they anticipated. With Atsura's parents busy during the week, they only crossed paths in the morning and on the weekends. Since last weekend's breakdown, Yin had become a lot softer. She didn't struggle to look Izuku in the eyes or make conversation with him. He cleared his throat, looking down to unpack his lunch. "I heard that you suggested my students to fight you for the festival?" "Yeah, I thought it would be a wonderful idea." "Now, what made you think that?" he said with a chuckle. She cracked her knuckles, smiling. "Fighting someone much stronger than you in front of a lot of people is great character development. Sounds like you just want to make them face public humiliation." She rolled her eyes, throwing her empty paper cup into the trash can. "Maybe I'll suggest it to another class," she thought out loud, sitting across from him. "For what it's worth, please don't," he laughed. "We have a few days left," she said suddenly, her voice a bit quieter. "Oh, yeah, that." They shifted awkwardly. "At least you'll get to sleep in your own bed again," she joked. "Actually, this past month I've had the best sleep in years," he admitted. Her eyes widened. "No way. Me too." Really? I wonder why that is," she whispered to herself, although she probably knew what the answer was, just as Izuku did. "Actually, Midoriya, I've been meaning to tell." "Deku, sir!" Atsura slid the door open, yelling into the break room. Yin nearly jumped out of her skin, her face exploding into flames, and Izuku turned over his shoulders to greet him. "Oh, Shujimi, hello. What kind of cake do you like?" "Huh?" "Cake. What flavor is your favorite?" If I had to pick, I think matcha's my favorite." "Double." Atsura gave a thumbs up and a big smile. What's that about?" "What are you bargaining in for this time?" Yin shouted, standing up and slamming her palms on the table. "Hey, it's important." "For what?" "It's a surprise." He winked before having to dodge a flying fork. He slammed the door shut, the utensil slamming into its surface. Izuku gasped. My fork! Rina and Azura put the rest of their baggage into the trunk of their car. Izuku, Yin, and Atura stood outside of the gate to see them off. Azura closed the trunk, wiping sweat off his blonde brows. That's the last of our stuff. Reina hugged her son tightly. Goodbye, my dear Atura. Work hard and don't slack off your studies. I know, Mom. Atura rolled his eyes, hugging her back. Azura gave Izuku a firm pat on his back, holding out his other hand for a shake. We appreciate you for lending us your home, and thank you for looking after Yin and Atura. Oh, of course, sir. It was a pleasure having you here. Izuku spoke with his hand and smile. Azura then moved to Yin, patting the top of her head. Please take care of yourself, kid. Thanks for paying for all the bills and stuff. That would be the one thing you'd think us out of our stay, Azura laughed. Renya joined their conversation, pouting her beautiful lips at Yin and Izuku. I had such a wonderful time. I'm so glad the two of you found each other. They gave an awkward smile at each other and back at Renya. Me too, Yin said. The couple piled into their car after saying their final goodbyes. As they watched the vehicle turn the street corner, Atura jumped into Yin and Izuku, wrapping his arms around their necks and pulling them into a hug. Thank you guys so much, he cried. We did it. My neck. Yin choked. I'm glad that this all worked out. Yin sighed in relief as Atura pulled away. Okay, surprise time. Atura clapped, running towards the house. Surprise? Both of them repeated with confusion. They went back inside, Atura opening the fridge and pulling out a white frosted decorated cake. On the top were words of, Congratulations on your divorce, written in pastel green icing. Izuku and Yin's mouth dropped after reading it. Thank you, both of you, for putting me and my parents. You two are truly the best. Did you really need to put that on a cake? Yin muttered to herself. Did you bake this yourself? Izuku asked in awe. Yep, and decorate it. I did it last night while everyone was asleep and hid it in the fridge. And it's matcha flavored, just like you like it, Teach. Suzumi, that's so kind of you. Izuku whispered sadly. Yin turned to him, holding back a smile. Are you going to cry? No! Atura laughed as he set the cake on the corner. Come on, let's eat. Later that night, though, Yin walked into her bedroom to see Izuku packing up the last of his clothes in a duffel bag. He turned over his shoulder to see who had entered the room, then gave a kind grin. Hi, Yin. Is that your last bag? Yep. I didn't realize it would take me this long to pack, though. He chuckled. I guess we were panicking when we packed up my apartment before and brought too much stuff. Are you leaving? He unzipped his duffel bag, signaling it over his shoulder and faced her. He let out a short sigh and nodded. Yeah, probably in a few minutes or so. She pressed her lips together, shifting her weight as her hands clung into fists behind her back. She should be relieved. This arrangement was temporary. It was always meant to be temporary, and yet, watching him stand there, his duffel bag slung over his shoulder, ready to walk away, Izuku's heart thud in his chest. She looks so cute. He then noticed a hint of sadness in her expression, or at least that's what it looked like. Was he making that up? What would she be upset about? Did something happen? Is there something wrong? He quickly dropped his bag to the floor with a heavy thud, walking over to her with an alarm. He lifted his hands, hovering them over her shoulders, hesitant to touch them. Yin looked up wide-eyed. Uh-huh. He stammered, pulling his arms back to his sides. You look sad, or, Sorry, I'm not assuming that you're sad because I'm leaving. I just thought something happened while I was busy packing. Spend the night. His rambling cut off. His entire body stiffened. What? It's, late, and you have to drive to get home. You might not get to bed until midnight, she muttered, turning her head away. And I could use one more night of good sleep. Something was different. Izuku was certain that she would be eager to kick him out and reclaim her house, her bed. But she wanted him to spend one more night. It was only around 11, and it was a Friday night. He didn't mind going home and getting into bed late, but if you're really afraid of being selfish, you don't have to be around me. If there's something you want, be as selfish about it as you want it. Because I think your definition of the word is different. Yin held a lump in her throat as she studied his reaction. His green gaze was unwavering on her, steady with shock. Then slowly, his expression shifted. His lips soft and perfectly curved into a gentle smile. The way it softened his features, the way the corners of his eyes crinkled just slightly, made her knees feel weak. She forced herself to keep still, but the heat creeping up her face betrayed her. How was she supposed to keep her composure when he looked at her like that? If you want me to, I will, he whispered. Her cheeks grew warm, struggling to hide her flushness as the seconds passed by. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. It doesn't matter. He could feel the tips of his ears heat up at her reaction. I could use another good night of sleep, too.